Still sticking with rates, and the RBA said that while wage rises are in line with its inflation target, public sector wages are still likely to pick up from here. Now, it seems clear to all but Jim Chalmers that Friday's wage rise decision of 5.75% for those on award wages was clearly a factor in the RBA decision. The government's also now seeking the same job, same pay legislation, which aims to ensure labour hire workers are paid the same as full-time workers in the same company. Again, inflationary? You bet it is. In a rare show of solidarity, 8 business groups have united to campaign against this legislation. One of those is the Business Council of Australia. Its president is Tim Reed, who I spoke with earlier.
I don't envy the Reserve Bank. They're in a fairly precarious position. Their overall objective is to make sure that inflation comes back down to that target 2 to 3%. And that is very, very important. It's important for households, but it's also important for businesses because it allows much greater certainty for decisions to be made. But the increasing interest rates will hurt businesses, particularly small and family businesses. You know, many of them use a credit card as their working capital. They've perhaps drawn down on their family mortgage to be able to fund an expansion of their business over the past couple of years. And as those interest rates flow through, that's going to be a direct hit to their family budget. For bigger businesses, it does raise the cost of capital, and that makes it more difficult to get investment. And we know how desperately Australia needs investment so that we can keep new jobs coming online and we can have better paying jobs coming online. So, you know, I don't envy Phil Lowe and his job, but certainly it's going to make it a more difficult environment for business.
So go to the same job, same pay legislation. Does that, in your opinion, only increase the pressure for wages to rise in the future?
Look, it does a few things. And the first thing I would say is the same job, same pay legislation is not well understood in the community, and it's not well defined by the government at this point in time. And part of why these business groups, and we're a part of them, have been coming out and speaking over the last 48 hours is we'd really like to get more clarity and more definition on that. You know, it's just not fair that somebody that has 20 years experience in a workplace cannot be paid more than someone who's been there for 2 weeks. You know, we should be able to reward employees that commit themselves to jobs that build skills, build knowledge and build professions so that they can be paid for the investment that they've made. And this legislation, as it's currently framed, puts that, or as we understand it might be framed, I should correct myself there, you know, brings into question whether that can happen. There is no doubt that those things will take away from flexibility in the workforce, and taking away from flexibility adds to the cost of business. So when you layer on interest rates, when you layer on the Fair Work ruling last week that you referred to earlier, and then you layer this on, it becomes a more and more difficult environment to make investments, more and more difficult environment to create jobs. And as we see unemployment go up, everyone will be unhappy with those circumstances.
And that full interview will be on Business Weekend this Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.